Hello, my friend. Guess what? I found another hot spring campground, but this one is a little scary. Yes, it's a brain-eating amoeba. Keep your head above the water. Let's get into it. This week I have some friends staying with me and we're going on an adventure. Heading down south, gonna be riding some motorcycles. But first, I gotta show you our living situation. So, stopped at this campground for the night and had to show you the setup I got going on. Truck's hooked up with the trailers, looking pretty good. But before I get on my way today, just wanted to show you the back of the camper right now. Look at this. Yeah. Heavy on the suitcases, no room. So we've had to unpack the truck every time we want to use the camper. All the suitcases come out, all the suitcases go in. It's been an ordeal, but hey, no complaints here. Out here, camping in a beautiful spot. Like I mentioned earlier, this is a hot spring campground. There's an old hot spring bathhouse that has roots dating back to the 1900s. I'll show you around later. But before we do that, let's go check out the hot springs. I got here a little later than I anticipated. It's already dark. I can't get in the hot spring tonight. So instead I just decided to try to check out and see what I can see. And then tomorrow morning, I'll get in bright and early. Starting as a hot ditch. It looks so clean. It's right by the road. I'm a fan. I think it's always a better idea to get into hot springs or any area for that matter that you're not familiar with during the daytime. You never know what you may come across. So I headed to the hot spring the next morning and the weather was beautiful. It's been so nice to get away from all of the snow, but still enjoy the snow-capped mountains. Just had to do some methodical wardrobe clothing switcheroo-ski, and then I was ready to get in the hot spring. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. One of my favorite places ever is where the desert meets the mountains. It's so beautiful. Check that out. One of the many signs that is posted along this hot ditch warning you of the possible presence of this amoeba. Yes, this is common in warm freshwater areas. Probably in a lot of the hot springs I get in, but this is one of the few that actually has a warning. Gotta be aware and keep your head above the water. Let me point out that these hot springs are completely separate from the campground hot springs that are nearby. The commercially managed hot springs are cleaned and filtered. I just found these nearby ones because you know I like to stop at as many hot springs as I can. The ultimate source of these pools is nestled up in the foothills of the Eastern Sierra. Several mineral-rich hot springs said to provide over 600 gallons of water a minute still pump out of the ground since their discovery prior to the 1900s. Worshipped for their sacred properties, the native tribes that first discovered the springs built their villages around them and used them for worship, bathing, and agriculture. Over time, the area was covered with fruit trees, orchards, and much foliage. These springs attracted much attention as an area of relaxation and leisure. There's lots of little pools, so even if it gets busy here, you can kind of get your own little private spot. And there's this nice little infinity-ish edge where you can look off into the distance and look at the beautiful mountains behind you that are covered in snow right now. Back to the campground and old bathhouses. Here you can stay in one of their canvas tents or camp spots. This behind me is the original bathhouse, built for all the people who came here to bathe in the hot springs for over 100 years. Let's check it out. This building was built around 1920, 2 years after the property was purchased by an early pioneer of the Sierra. You can't really see inside, but there's this little peephole. Let's see what's in there. Here we go. He had dreams of turning it into a health and wellness retreat with steam baths and soaking tubs. People would come from miles around and enjoy the resort and the plunge pool. The building was constructed with stone made up from the surrounding mines in the area, with redwood on the interior. There were hot tubs and steam baths. Visitors could take a dip and relax surrounded by indoor tropical plants. The hot springs were the place to be. Everyone enjoyed being there. It was a huge part of their social life. All of that changed when the property and surrounding land was sold to the state in 1926. This is the commercially run hot spring. There are 2 pools, one kept at 88 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit and another smaller pool kept at 104 degrees Fahrenheit. There's over 27 different minerals in the water, and it's fun to swim and enjoy year-round. Time to take a shower so we can get out of here. These little coins. Tokens only. Let's see if it works. Look at that! Time to head on out further down south. See you at the desert. As we moved further south, I stopped off at a few places and couldn't resist some sunset desert riding. On to T-dubs. I'm so ready for spring and more motorcycle riding. Thanks so much for checking out those hot springs with me. I know it's been about 3 weeks since my last YouTube video, and I've been uploading a weekly YouTube video nearly every week for, I think it's been over 3 years now. And sometimes you just need a break. It seems like I spend all of my time either filming, or editing, or filming, or editing. Once I'm done with one, it's right back to the other. And while it's enjoyable, sometimes you just need to stop, smell the flowers, figure out what you want to do next. I was able to take some time off, spend some quality time with my family, recharge my creative batteries, and try to figure out what's next for this channel. A lot of other YouTubers hire editors because that offloads a lot of the work so they can film more. But at that point, I just feel like it's the editor's story and not my story. So ideally, I don't really want to do that. I'd like to do all of the editing myself. Sometimes I feel like it's always the same video over and over, just a little bit different. YouTube has this algorithm that I like to call the clown show that I feel like you have to follow in order to stay relevant. And while that's fine and good, sometimes you just want to film something different. So I have a lot of new ideas that I've been pondering on and a new style video that I'm working on. It's not ready yet, but I think it'll be ready in the next couple weeks. So stay tuned. You have to let me know if you like it. I'm hanging out with this pizza right here right now. I'm doing some product testing, some experimentation for my next masterpiece. You know I love pizza, but I also love Greek food, and I want to make a Greek pizza. I've never made a Greek pizza, so I've been trying different ones. So next time when I pull out my portable pizza oven, I'll have a delicious Greek pizza for you. Fingers crossed. Now, speaking of eating, onto the brain-eating amoeba, Naegleria fowleri. It enters through your nose, usually through force, such as submerging underwater, or through splashing. Once it's in the nose, it attaches to the nasal mucosa, moves up the olfactory nerve into the brain, where it essentially destroys your brain tissue and causes an infection called primary amoebic meningoencephalitis, which is a mouthful. Try saying that 3 times fast. So for short, call it PAM. And no, not the baking spray. This is much scarier. It's nearly always fatal, but it's pretty rare. I think it's been like 154 diagnosed cases in the last 59 to 60 years, so it doesn't happen very often. But even though it's rare, it's still something to be aware of. It's more common in southernmost states, but really just warmer freshwater sources, such as lakes, rivers, and hot springs. So if you want to read more about it, I highly encourage you to do more research because I think awareness is one of the best steps for prevention. And that's why I never submerge my head under the water in hot springs, and whenever I jump into freshwater sources, I nearly always plug my nose. So don't make fun of those people that plug their nose. I always think it's a good idea. I think that about wraps up a pretty short synopsis. Now, I'm ready to eat the pizza. This has tomatoes, black olives, purple onions, feta, green peppers, and a white sauce, which is my mystery factor. I've never made a white sauce for pizza, so that will be the most challenging part. All the toppings should be easy. I'd give this pizza a 7 out of 10. I think I could make at least an 8.5. It's garlicky, it's a little salty, it's creamy, It's crunchy. Do I accept the challenge? Of course I do. Thanks for visiting my Hannah's TED Talk and for taste testing some Greek pizza with me. I'll see you next week for King of the Hammers. You don't want to miss it.